We just mentioned the David Montgomery trade when we were talking about the Lions, but they traded for David Montgomery to kind of beef up that running back room. They also, which everyone saw this coming, but they released Joe Mixon with whatever injury he has going on. He didn't play at all last year. I think there's reason to be excited about Woody Marks as like a secondary back, kind of, a solid back, but he was not really an impact back and, struggled to have consistent high yardage games, which maybe was the offensive line, whatever. But regardless, I think it was a position we all thought they needed to upgrade, and so they go out and upgrade it. They trade Juice Scruggs, a 4th-round pick this year, and then a 7th-round pick next year. And then on top of that, they signed Reed Blankenship today, which is probably one of the more surprising moves of free agency for me. I mean, I know if they were going to go somewhere and upgrade their defense, it was going to either be safety or defensive tackle, but I didn't necessarily expect them to give out a multi-year deal to a safety, but they did that. But those are kind of their moves so far. Thoughts on them?
Yeah, I mean, bringing in Reed Blankenship is like the perfect example of making a strength stronger, I guess. And so you take that elite defense. I mean, I think you called it probably the best defense in the NFL last year. It was just a fantastic defense. And you go out and get Reed Blankenship, who was a part of one of the best defenses in the NFL 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a move I like. You put him in that backfield with Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter, and it just becomes very scary for opposing offenses. But the issue is, I mean, can the offense keep up with that? The only offensive investment they've made so far is bringing in David Montgomery, unless I'm looking to see if something's happened since in the last couple hours.
Well, they sent Titus Howard to the Browns, so they moved on from yet another offensive lineman that
re-signed
started a bunch
Dalton
for them
Schultz,
last
re-signed
season.
Trent Brown. So they re-signed a tackle and an offensive guard, re-signed EJ Speed, a linebacker, extended Danielle Hunter, re-signed Sheldon Rankins. So no big investments on the offensive side of the ball, unless you want to call David Montgomery a big investment, but I don't think he's a fixes the offense kind of investment. So that's something I'll be interested to see is their goal just to hold opponents like 6 points a game?
Maybe it is. I mean, I think they'll probably make another move or two in free agency based on the offense, and then they'll be able to really attack it in the draft.
Right, which
as
they
good as
haven't
possible.
given up anything in the draft yet. They still have their first rounder.
Yes.
Which isn't a great first. They'll pick 28th, so it's not. They're not picking from the best to the best at that point. So what are your thoughts, JP?
I'm fine with them not making huge splash moves. They already tried that. They tried that with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs ended up tearing his ACL, and it went poorly. They tried that with Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had his foot injury stuff, and that went poorly. I think they're more hesitant to spend a ton of money there, and I'd argue they spent a fair amount of money already. $7 million on Trent Brown, $12 million on Dalton Schultz, $12 million on their offensive guard Ed Ingram. So I do think they've spent some money there. They, brought in David Montgomery to what they hope shore up their running back field. I think they can convince themselves that they've done enough there and they can address a few more pieces in the draft. I wouldn't, bat too much of an eye to the, I guess some might argue, lack of splash moves offensively. I do think they've done enough so far, and we're still through only 1 day of free agency.
I mean, it's really just going to come down to the draft for them.